Hi guys, if you're watching this video, odds are you or someone you know is planning a wedding and getting married in the near future and needs a little bit of help. My name's Elise. I own a wedding planning company called Our Own Table Co, and I share free tips, tricks, resources, and guides on all of my social channels. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then hit that subscribe button and join our community that we are growing every single day. Today we're going to be talking about something that I know just a little bit about, and that is wedding planners. There are 4 types of planners that you've probably heard mentioned in your planning process so far. First, let's talk about what a full-service wedding planner is in charge of. This will definitely vary from vendor to vendor, but these are typically what you can expect. They will help you identify and fine-tune your vision. They'll help create mood boards, pull inspiration images. They'll help with scouting and venue selection, with budget management, so they'll create a budget and payment tracker and help divide your expenses among different categories. They'll help with vendor suggestions, either in the form of a preferred vendor list or a custom curated vendor list based on your budget, your vision, your wants, and your needs. They'll create a wedding planning timeline, checklist, and calendar so you know what is up next and what milestones you should be hitting and when. They'll schedule meetings, interview vendors, and help negotiate your contracts. They'll help track RSVPs and invitations, and depending on how full service they are, they might assemble your invitation suite and mail those out for you as well. They'll be in charge of vendor management the day of the wedding. That means all of your vendors know to look for them. They are their person of contact. They will tell them where to go, what they need to be doing, make sure they have everything, and make sure that they're on time. They'll help with wedding day timeline creation. They will create one for you, for themselves, for other vendors, and for your wedding party. They'll help create your floor plan and seating chart. They'll help coordinate any rentals the day of the wedding. So that means making sure that they get to their right spot, they're set up exactly how you want them. And they'll help with setup and breakdown. So typically they're the first ones there and they're the last to leave. And they can also assist in setting up your personal decor and breaking that down and making sure it goes home with you at the end of the night. They'll also help coordinate your rehearsal walkthrough. And then they will be there obviously the day of to coordinate your ceremony and reception. So that's making sure that everyone's lined up and ready to go, and everyone's ready for things like speeches, cake cutting, just really making sure that the event flows like it should. And along with this, they are detailing and triple checking everything. Next up is your wedding designer. If their package mentions full service wedding planning and design, then you can likely include everything that we just talked about. If it just says design, they'll help create mood boards, really fine tune your vision, create a cohesive event, and they will source and create your wedding decor. They will also set it up and break it down. Next, we have your day of wedding coordinator. This one is more comparable to your full service wedding planner rather than your wedding designer. And day of coordinator can be somewhat misleading. I don't know of any wedding planner that shows up exactly on your wedding day and just gets to work. These packages typically start 30 days to 2 weeks out from your wedding day. They will help complete and fine tune your wedding timelines, your floor plan and layout, and your decor setup. This might mean adding a lot more detail to your wedding day timeline that you might not have thought about, revising your floor plan so that the flow is a little bit better, and creating an itemized list of all of your wedding decor that you will be providing so that everything is cataloged and it doesn't get lost. Along with that, they'll also review where you want your decor set up, how you want it set up. They'll also be in charge of vendor management the day of your wedding. So like I mentioned before, your vendors will know to check in with them. In addition to your personal decor, they will be in charge of coordinating rentals the day of your wedding. So any decor that you have outsourced, they'll make sure it gets where it needs to be. And they will also help with your rehearsal walkthrough and obviously your ceremony and reception as well. And they will be in charge of event setup and breakdown as well. Typically, however, day of packages offer shorter day of hours with additional hours available for purchase. So make sure you check on this. This option is typically used when a full service planner might be out of your budget, or if you and your fiance feel like you have a handle on wedding planning, you're totally fine, you've got it, but you don't want your wedding party to be in charge of any decor setup or logistics management the day of your wedding. Now I know I'm a little bit biased, but I 1000% would recommend at the very least to hire a day of wedding coordinator. Your friends and family have traveled from all over. They want to hang out with you on your wedding day, and obviously vice versa. You want to see them. You don't want them setting up decor or worrying about your timeline. I promise you, it is so worth it. And lastly, we have your venue coordinator. This is someone that you'll meet when you tour your venue. Emphasis on venue coordinator because they work for the venue. They do not work for you and your fiance. They might provide a list of preferred vendors, but they are not meeting with them with you and they are not negotiating your contracts. They'll answer venue-related questions leading up to your wedding day, but they will not answer non-venue related questions. If the venue provides tables, chairs, or miscellaneous decor, they will be in charge of setting those up for you. Basically, your venue coordinator is the team leader for the venue's event staff. So any employees employed by the venue, they will be in charge of leading. You can think of valet, catering team, bartenders, etc. They typically arrive about an hour or two before your event begins and typically leave after dinner is served. Venue coordinators differ from venue to venue, so make sure you ask how involved or not involved they will be in your planning process and leading up into your big day. So another question I get asked all the time is, when should I book my wedding planner? Now again, I'm biased, but I think as soon as possible. So before you start looking at your venues. They will likely already have a large list of venues based on your vision and budget that you guys can reference. They'll have personal insights on the venues. They'll know the pros and cons of venues that they've already worked at. And lastly, and I think most importantly, are these two. They aren't blinded by the visual appeal of the venue, but rather focus on logistics and any potential issues that they see during the tours. They'll come prepared with a list of questions for your venue during the tour, most of which you probably wouldn't even think to ask. And that's okay, that's what we're here for as planners. What should you already have completed before you interview potential planners? I actually just made a video about this last week, so I will link it in the description. You should have your budget, your guest list, your date range, or at the very least the season that you want to get married. You should also have a general idea of your vision and any important aspects that you want to be a part of your day. Bonus points if you have a Pinterest board already made and ready to go. Here are a few things that I, as a planner, ask my couples during my introductory meetings. I ask why they're considering hiring a planner. I ask what 3 things they're most looking forward to, what 3 things they are most stressed about. I ask them what work of mine stuck out, and I ask them to describe their dream wedding day. Now, speaking of interviewing planners, here are my top questions that you should be asking potential planners. Ask them to go through everything that's included in their package and what might be added as an add-on with an additional charge. You should plan on spending lots of time discussing communication. When can you expect to hear from them? How often you can expect to hear from them? What's their preferred method of communication? How do they schedule a meeting? And what you can expect during planning. And lastly, what do they specialize in and what is their personality type? It is super important to find a planner that you are a good personality fit with, both during the planning process and on wedding day itself. So you might have a planner that's super laid back during planning and you're totally fine with that, but they show up wedding day and they are strict, they're direct and to the point, and that might not be what you thought you were getting into, and that might not be a personality that you mesh with. If you're very type A and direct, you probably don't want to book a planner that's very laid back and reserved. This will make all the difference in your planning process. All right, so now that you know the different types of planners, when you should book your planner, what you should ask your planner, you are ready to go. That is it for today's video. Good luck with your wedding planner interviews and congrats on your engagement. Reminder, I'll be posting these videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So subscribe to follow along and don't forget to follow all of my other social channels as well. We have some really fun stuff coming.